What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we have a very special video for you guys. This video is going to be tailored made specifically more for the new players who are thinking about joining Gundam Card Game. Now, there have been a few people have been noticing on the Facebook community group that have been saying, look, I'm new. What can I get cards from? Where can I best find singles? What is best to find starter decks? What should I be doing? Is there anything for this or that? And there's a lot of resources that are out there that a lot of people don't know. Now, this video is going to be mostly tailored for, like I said, for the newer players trying to get in. This is a perfect time because we're almost 2 months away from the first anniversary for the Gundam card game, where we're going to have GDO 5 set come out, which is going to be a very popular set with so many series that a lot of people who are interested. Endless Walls, G Gundam, and Char Counter Attack as well. So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be interested in the Gundam card game, so I wanted to make this video specifically tailored for them. Now, there are going to be other tips and tricks, and I recommend that if I don't say it in this video, please leave a comment down below. What are some tips and tricks for people who are just getting into the game that you would recommend, or things that you wish you would have known when you first got into the game? Now, without further ado, let's get into a couple tips and tricks when it comes into the Gundam card game. Alright, now the first thing I actually want to tell you guys is actually there is a free application from Gundam themselves to be able to try the stuff out You can play it in the app that they have for the App Store or the Play Store. You'll be able to download it. I think it's called Gundam Card Game Teaching App. There you go. And as you see here, I have to re-download it. You can go ahead and download that. That would be a free way to try out the game, figure out the rules, and really first find out the mechanics to see if something that you might be interested in at all. Once you be able to download it, you can go ahead and open things up. You are going to be put in the horizontal mode, and here is your Gundam card game teaching app. Now, I believe I already have an account and I played already with this before, so let's see what occurs. It looks like, yes, everything has been cleared, but here specifically you're able to actually do the tutorial and be able to try out the rules and figure out how it is. And then once you played enough, you get into a free play mode. Now with this, you're able to actually try different decks out as well. You get to a free play mode, you can change it, you can put it to normal or expert mode, and then here you can pretty much try different decks out. Most of them are going to be the starter deck specifically. As you see here, you see the blue, you see the white, you see the green, you see the red for the seed, you see IBO clan, you see the Mafty deck. So you see a lot of the starter decks. Some of the starter decks are not on here, like the Celestial Being Drive starter deck. So there are some starter decks that are not in here, but you're able to at least give these decks a try, see if you like it. IBO is a very popular one. You go ahead and select it, and it will show you all the cards that are going to be in that specific deck. Now, unfortunately, you can't really adjust this specifically to your personal liking, but you at least get to try the starter deck. Potentially, what you're going to want to ever do is, if you're ever going to get starter decks, you're always going to try to buy 2 starter decks if you ever get a chance to, so you can always have 4 copies of every single LR and every other cards you need in the deck as well. Because when you only buy 1 starter deck, you only get 2 LRs, and some of the other ratios may vary depending on what they give you. But to get the general coverage, you want to make sure you get 2. So in this scenario, here's the IBO's deck. You'll be able to play this deck. You go ahead and set it as you want. You can put against another deck. You could choose your enemy deck, and you can go ahead and start the battle. Now with this, like I said, this is a great way to learn the battle. Here I'm going second. By the time you get to free play, you really understand the rules about the mulligan, about the shields, how does the base work, how does attacking work, how does deploying work. You really get a chance to understand all those mechanics here, specifically when it comes to this actual deck. So it's up to you if you want to keep it or not. And it's asking you if you want to stick with this hand, and now we're going to say yes. So this, like I said, is a great way to really understand it, to play, and see if you even like this game at all before you even invest a penny into this game at all. You just go ahead and try this app and see if you would like it, see if you enjoy it, and if something you want to keep looking into, then what I would recommend is our next step. All right, our very next step is actually this website here, exburst.dev. And I will leave a link down below if you guys are interested. Here they have other trading card games as well. If you go ahead and hover over the actual main top left display, you have Union Arenas, you have Cyberpunk, Naruto, Riftbound, Arknights, Enfield, and it looks like soon to come is One Piece here as well. But you also have Gundam, which is what you currently see here on the homepage is Gundam. Here is a really great way to be able to build a deck. On top of that, be able to keep all your cards in one location that you personally own. You can upload them here specifically, and you can keep tabs on things if you want. Really great way to also share with other people if you want. So just going over this, none of this is sponsored. This is just happens to be one of the easier websites that I've been told about. There are probably other websites, but this is the one I would say is the more popular one. Here you want to go ahead and figure out, once you make an account, it is a free account. You get to see how it plays, tournament results, and all that stuff here. And they have a new feature called pack opening, where you can actually open some packs and see if you want, if you win anything, and kind of give you that dopamine effect about opening a pack. But here specifically, you can go ahead and look at your own deck. You can see your collections, pack opening we talked about. You can also view other public decks, and we're going to discuss how you can see public deck, how to make your decks private or public depending on who you are. Maybe you want to keep what you're cooking kind of hush-hush, but here you'll be able to see other people's decks as well. But let's go ahead and click on our deck builder. Now this is what you would see when you are doing the deck building. Here specifically, you have all the cards all the way to the left, all the cards that are currently in the game or currently coming out that have been revealed, which Exburst does a really good job at uploading and updating itself of the cards that are coming out and have been revealed but are not officially out. So you get a chance to potentially build a deck and see how it looks. So in this scenario, this is a really great way where you can start typing in what cards you're looking specifically for. But let's say you already understand the rules. You know that there's 2 color combos max you can do. So here you're going to go ahead and go into your filter system. With it being filter, you can then specifically choose what colors you want to work with. Maybe you just want to work with one color and see what you want to do with that. So if you want to go ahead and let's just say you want to work with, let's say Celestial Being. Now Celestial Being is 3 different colors currently right now, but let's just say you got the starter deck, right? And we just made a deck profile for the starter deck of STO7, how you can kind of improve it to make it a little bit more competitive. But let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and select those specific colors. Now you go ahead and click on the outside of it. Now you got all the purple and green cards that you want specifically, but now you want to filter it down. You can go to commands, you can go to pilots, units, bases, whatever you want specifically. You go sets, what set did it come out of? So let's say if you want to specifically look into trying out the STO starter decks 1 through 9 that's currently out right now, you can go ahead and select that. So let's say if we want to go ahead and try out the Celestial Drive, so we go ahead and select STO7 and we go ahead and click on the side. Now this is all the cards that are currently out in that starter deck. If you were to look into purchasing that starter deck, this is all the cards you would get here. Now you have to select what you want and put into your deck over here for if you want to start building it. So let's go ahead and you can go ahead and select one. You can put 1, or you can add up to 4, however you want here specifically. You can go ahead and make your deck. And once you make your deck, now if you want to look for other cards, you can go ahead and change your filter, which will take off the STO7. And then you can start looking at potentially just overall CB cards. So you can go ahead and specifically look on the bottom of the cards have certain traits. You can look for, hey, look at that, CBs. Now here you're going to see other cards that are CBs that are purple and green that were not in the STO7. You could potentially add to that deck to make it a little bit better, more to your personal playstyle. There's a lot more cards that are out specifically. So this is a really great way to build a deck, to figure out what you want to do, look at your calls, do AP levels, HP, maybe certain keywords. Maybe you want to look for a blocker. Maybe blocker is the way you want to look for. So we go ahead and select that. And look, there's 2 blockers potentially for CBs. This is a really great way to build a deck. You're able to then look at all the cards specifically that are out that can help you. So let's go ahead and remove this. One thing I found interesting as I was using this before was, what if I just want to see what kind of purple and green commands that are out there that are actually really, really solid. Now, I do have a few different filters here. Commands, purple, green. Let's go ahead and go purple. Do I have anything else? And blockers. So we're going to remove that. And let's put that back to green. So now we're looking at all the purple and green commands that are currently out there. Now, this is a really great way because, for instance, Exia LR can give you back one resource. Now you can look at all the resources, all the cards here that have maybe 1 or 2 costs, and you can kind of build your deck based off of that. Maybe you want to add damage control. Maybe you want to have bridge crew, arm intervention. Maybe you want to go ahead and, look into putting giant killing or something in those lines in the deck, and you're able to see all the commands specifically here for you so you can build that deck the way you want it specifically. So now with that being said, let's go ahead and show you one of the decks. We just made a deck profile for it, and this is the purple and green CB deck that I just made a deck list, a deck profile for. And now we currently have all the cards here. Now with the stuff on the side of the main deck, you're going to be able to, name it whatever you want. I just specifically put this Ultron so I know that this has the Ultron in it. But you can also look at the stats. You can see your range. You can see where most of your units are and your cards are going to be lying. Here, we're seeing a lot of 4s here. See the cost range anywhere from 2 to less. You can see all that. And it also gives you a chance to see what turn 2 plays are chance, what turn 1 plays you guys have chances for. And all that will be here for statistics if you guys wanted to as well. You can also make it where you can put cards that you are personally considering trying to add into this. Make some notes here. And then if you want, as you see right above the comments, there's a place where it says public. You can actually make this deck private so no one sees what you're personally potentially cooking, and maybe you want to keep it hush hush for right now. But if you leave it in public, people will be able to see this deck and maybe take the inspiration from it and use it for what they want to, either in their locals, in their new types, or whatever they want specifically. So now, this is just one resource. Like I said, here you have all the other ways to do with this deck as well. So for a perfect example is you have this play button. Now this play button is going to be a very important button because this can take you to other resources that can also help you guys out as well. Now with that being said, if I would go ahead and click it, you also have a feature here called Draw Test Hand, which is very, very interesting because a lot of times if you're building a deck, you want to see what your top 5 cards would be if you were to draw, and they actually have a feature in this website that actually does it. So we go ahead and click it, and then this will be in our hand currently. Now we have the base, we have 2 bases technically. We do have the O Gundam here specifically for early on, but we have nothing late game. And now this Ultron is, I only have about 2 or 3 in the deck, and with that being said, it might not be a bad idea to potentially hold this and hope that you get the rest, or we can just mulligan this and we can go ahead and hit mulligan. Now this will be our next new hand. Now we have a base, we do have a turn 3 play with the pilot if we needed to, and we also have a turn 4 play without the pilot. So this also allows you to do certain things to see what you can set up for yourself. And I think overall this can be, we can set up our life here. Here is our life. Our next 6 cards would be here. We go ahead and draw card. Now look at that, we got Ultron in our hand, which we mulligan because we wanted to eventually, we do want to see Ultron more towards the end game, but it looks like we ended up getting here. So we would then hit draw 1 more because now we're turn 2. So here specifically you can start seeing how you're able to see the deck, see how it plays without even spending a dime into the game. You're able to just test out the decks, build the decks that you want, try your hands out, maybe potentially try it against other people and potentially against AI. So without further ado, let's get into our next area, which is actually playing against AI. If you hit the play button, you do have an option here called Play on Wingstable. Now Wingstable is another website that I was told on in the very, very beginning where you can actually play against robots or AI. So if I go ahead and click on this, it's gonna say, hey, do you sure you want to go ahead and click on this? We go ahead and click on this. Now I have done this multiple times and just play this. There is a multiple decks here that are exactly the same, but you will be here. This is player 1. This is you. This is your deck here, the Ultron deck. Everything's here. Now, if you want to add and change things, it's up to you. You can go ahead here, hit add, and the tabs are pretty understandable. This is your base, here's your commands, here's your pilots, and it shows you all the purple greens that you could potentially use in here if you wanted to. You hover over the link and it will actually give you the image of the card. You build it how you want, you can save it. And now you can go ahead and go back to the beginning. You will always be player 1. So player 2, you can make a deck for it. So if you want to do a mirror match, you could do 1 and 2. If you want to put, let's just say a different deck here specifically. Let's say you want to try red, purple, pink, which we made a deck profile for that too. Now red, purple, pink will be a second player. And then you can either choose who goes first, who goes second. Or you can choose it at random to see how it goes. Now, in this scenario, let's say I want to try going second specifically. So, starting player will be player 2. So that allows me to get the actual extra resource. Now, do we want to mulligan this hand? I want to say no because I have a lot of early on. And you go ahead and start playing as you go. And it gives you a little play-by-play on the top left. You can then play cards how you want to see it. Go ahead and play this card. I have to use one of my resources to go ahead and do this. There are also features if you want to speed it up, if you want to change it, if you want to undo the turn or go back a turn, you can do that as well. This is overall a really good way to play test a deck, specifically when cards have yet to officially come out. Wingstable does tend to have the cards available for you to play immediately, like within 24 hours. Every single set of since GDO2 I've been able to get on here and play the cards immediately after it's been revealed within 24 hours. The only thing that can change is depending on how the cards are being ruled. If the ruling has changed or is not clear, they will just throw the card in there without the actual ruling. You might have to wait a couple days potentially for them to update it. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to it. I remember when GDO3 came out, Trans Am suppression effect that would hit 2, then you can pop, was actually popping 2 units instead of just popping 1. If you understand what I'm talking about, awesome. But you have to be careful when it comes to some of the rulings. So sometimes the rulings are not always the same. But if it officially has been out, most likely the ruling has been updated and you are able to play the cards how you want to. You can go ahead and end my turn. Go ahead and pass it on to the AI. AI goes ahead and does close combat and get rid of my unit. Awesome. So now I'll go ahead and play as I go. Like I said, depending on how you want to play, you can play against AI, build the decks, and bring it here if you want to. If you don't want to play against other players, but there is a website that you can play against other players. So let's get right back into that. All right, so now let's go ahead and say you want to play against other players. You can go ahead and hit the play button, and down here you'll see a website called Mobilesuit Arena. Now this is the one that a lot of people know is probably one of the most popular ones, and people have even done tournaments on the Mobilesuit Arena. So you can go ahead and click on this. It's going to say, hey, are you sure you want to bring this to Mobilesuit Arena? Now keep in mind with Mobilesuit Arena, you're going to need your deck list typed out. So what we'll do is I'm going to hit the X button real quick. Down here where it says export, you can export this as a text, and that's exactly what you're going to do. They give you a quick, simple method, and all you have to do is click copy to clipboard. You copy this whole entire deck, then you can go ahead and hit play and go Wingstable. While you export, maybe you just want to share the image of this, and this is a really great way to post your deck list to people so they can see it, and you can be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this specific deck? But like I said, we want to go ahead and export to Wingstable. We go to Wingstable. We go to Mobilesuit Arena, my apologies, and then we go here. This is the actual website. Now, a couple days prior to the set actually being released, if you really want to play the cards out, there is a beta version of this. You just got to do beta.mobilesuitarena.com, and a lot of times it will have some of the cards right before the set actually officially comes out. So you can you put your nickname here specifically. Now if you have a Patreon, I think it's like $6 USD to have a Patreon. It allows you to save multiple decks with the Patreon, and that can make it easier for you. You also get a special badge for it. But you don't have to spend at all to play this. Now you can go ahead and hit edit here. Now we're going to go ahead and copy, and then we're going to paste our deck here specifically. Now our deck is officially here, loaded, ready to go, and then we can go ahead and do casual, limited, or you could do other stuff here as well, ranked matches and all that. Now here specifically, you could do quick matches and you could go ahead and hit search, or you can create a match, and by creating a match, now you're able to actually play against maybe one of your friends that you know that you want to play against with them. You give them this code, or maybe you just want to join your friend who made a room. You can join them in adding it here. You enter the code and you can go ahead and play with this here specifically. You also have the starter decks if you want specifically to choose one of the starter decks. If you want to click on the starter deck and use that specific starter deck, it's up to you. That is a way you can play as well. But a lot of people obviously use it for your deck list. You enter the deck list, you type it in, and you go ahead and play. Here there are ranked matches, and it shows you who is ranking on since a certain day. And after June 5th, the new season will arise when it comes to the Mobilesuit arena. So you do have an area to play player versus player. They do have websites how you can a video on how you can do all that, and they are always updating this game to make sure that it's always easy. Now for me, in my eyes, I like the dark mode, but if you click on this, everything's going to turn white for you guys. So you guys like to have a little bit more brighter for your eyes, you can go ahead and have it there as well. All right, and those are some free avenues of things you can do potentially without even having to spend any money in the game at all. Like we talked about, you have the Bandai Teaching Gundam Card Game app. You have the Exburst website. You have Wingstable. You have Mobilesuit Arena to play against AI or play against players, friends, or anyone like that. On top of that, I would also highly recommend, obviously, downloading the Bandai the Bandai Plus TCG app, where you can find your local area that has your local card game stores. The LGSs will be able to be a great source of potentially finding bulk. I know a lot of people, at least in my area, we give our bulk to our LGSs or players that are new. We know that they're new. They come for an event. Oh, here's bulk. If you need some bulk, here's some bulk of whatever cards that we are unpacking. There are a lot of us who might, spend, buy 3, 4, 5, 6 a case, 2 cases, 3 cases for this game, and we have a lot of bulk. So a lot of times what we tend to do, and I say this specifically for me, is I tend to look at the cards, commons and uncommons. If I have at least 8 cards of the exact same cards as 2 playsets, and everything else gets put together, and then I ship it off to, or I give it to one of my local card game store. They have it, either behind the counter for new players, and hopefully the card game store is at least honest enough so that they don't look through it and they try to sell the cards themselves. Because sometimes if I already have a bunch of LRs I don't need, I'm gonna throw it in there, the regular ones, not the ultimate art, the rares and stuff like that. But a lot of times you can go to your local card game and you can see, hey, look, I'm new to the game. Is there any potential, bulk that people have left, or, commons or uncommon stuff that people have here that you can potentially filter through? By filtering through, you can kind of potentially see what kind of cards are out there that can help you. A lot of times in that store, sometimes people might be playing events and people are willing to, hey, look, these are some cards you might be looking to, keeping or adding to it. Oh, that's a really good card. Show of Resolve, a really good card. Even though you might not be playing blue, that's a really good card to have, or Overflow, or something in those lines. And they are really good at telling you what you might potentially need to use specifically for the deck that you might want to potentially have, or just add it to your collections. So a lot of times, a lot of stores will be willing to hold those cards potentially for new players, so they can look through it and they can look through it, grabbing some of the stuff. Sometimes it is for free. Sometimes they might charge. I don't know. Typically by my area, a lot of times they don't charge. They just let the players look through it and they find what they want to find. Sometimes, like I said, you might find some LRs, you might find some rares, uncommons and commons. So things of that sort, I would say all that stuff, like we mentioned, is free. We talked about all the websites. We talked about the teaching apps and all that, but even going to the store and just see if they have bulk that they're willing to get rid of, that you're brand new and I'm looking to, they might be willing to give you some of the bulk, so you have some stuff as well. I know a lot of people, like I said, in my area, I still got a bunch of bulk here from this last previous set that I have to go through and have yet to kind of filter through it. But once I have all that set up, then I can give it to a store. And I try to go to a couple different stores, like give them the bulk, and that hopefully new players come out. Another thing I would definitely say that is a really good tool would be, looking on like Discord groups in your local area for your LGSs, or in your state. Currently in the state here that I'm in, we do have one good one for New Jersey. Our buddy Tones, he has one specifically for New Jersey, so everyone in our area can jump in, be able to communicate all the way from north to south to central. We're able to all communicate with each other, and even stores are in that group as well, so we can all communicate with each other about events, about cars, about reveals and things of that sort, and just stay up to date with all the stuff that are potentially coming out, new product coming out, new reveal of new cars potentially coming out, new events that are coming out. I would say by going into some of these Discord groups, for, like I said, for the Gundam card game, you're being able to stay on top of that, but on top of that, meet new people. Maybe the people might even want to play with you on our Mobilesuit arena. You're able to try your decks out, and can really help you that way as well. All those things, like I said, are free. They're the easiest thing you can do. Some of them might need some time, like driving to your local car store, see if they have anything. Then, if you decide to then want to spend some money and buy, then you can go ahead and look into buying a starter deck. A lot of the pain problems that we have in the game is trying to find starter decks, because a lot of the core of the cards of the decks that you're going to need is probably coming from starter decks. And now, with that being said, it is really tough to find some of the earlier starter decks, which is what is the biggest problem right now, is trying to find some of the STO1s to STO5, is you won't be able to find the starter decks without having to pay a little bit more than MSRP. So that will be something to keep in mind. Can you play around it? I would say always, if you're going to spend money eventually, I would always say, if you are, then just look into getting a starter deck that you can physically get your hands on, and seeing if it's with something you like. Before you even spend the money, try the starter deck online digitally first, see if you even like it, and then from there you can then pull the trigger if you wanted to. Keep in mind, when it comes to starter decks, it's always good to have 2 starter decks of the same one, because you only get 2 of one LR, and you're probably going to want at least a minimum of 4 to be able to play the starter deck as well. But see if you like it. If you go ahead and invest into it, it's up to you. One good tip I would say, if you do not care about alternate art, or pluses is what we call them, if you don't care about the alternate art or the holographic form of that specific card, that's a special art, then you can potentially use that card and trade it for cards that you may potentially want. A lot of times people are willing to trade with it. If you have a card, they might want to trade with you, or some stores might want to trade with you. I would always say look at TCG Player. That's where the marketplace is kind of where it's at. You can see where the prices are at. You can kind of figure out from there if you want to look into trading it. The Exburst does a really good job at trying to update itself and showing you the price of that specific card and what it's worth. That can be very helpful, but you could potentially get a starter deck upgraded a little by little by some commons and uncommons of some of the sets, and you'll be able to actually make a decent deck. One of the reasons why I made that STO7 green purple CB starter deck video, and trying to tweak it a little bit and revise it to be a little bit stronger, to be a little bit better, is because I've seen a lot more people getting into these starter decks like the STO7, and you have the starter deck and don't know what they can do with it. Minor tweaks. There's a lot of commons and uncommons you can get from GDO3 to GDO4, which is a current set that you're able to get for, like I said, in bulks, that can potentially help you out when you're playing with that specific deck. There are a couple rares, and then there is maybe 1 or 2 LRs you might potentially need, but then you're pretty much set with a decent deck that you can play with at your local area. And then you can make tweaks as you go there as well. But these are all things that I would recommend. In that Bandai TCG app, you're able to find your local card games. You can play local events. You can play new type, which is like a little more competitive, higher level skill level there, new type challenges. And then you have your store championships, which is something new to our new to this year, and then you have your regionals and things of that sort as you go higher. But that is just a way to get yourself into the door. Hopefully, like I said, to recap everything, you have the Bandai teaching app. You have Exburst. You have websites like the Exburst that can, keep all your cards collected, and you can play test your hands. You can play against AI Robot with Wingstable. You can play against other players with Mobilesuit Arena. And then you have the Bandai Plus app that you're able to find your local card game stores that might have stuff. Go there. Maybe potentially they might have bulk that you can get for free. You can look through them and they might let you have it. And then, like I said, looking into stuff before you actually pull the trigger. And then if you decide to pull the trigger, then you're good to go. But that's like 6 going on to 7. There might be another one I'm missing that you can have for free without even to spend any money in the game before you can actually just go ahead and start investing into it. That allows you to play the game, figure things out. The only thing you might have to do is, like I said, is potentially just driving to your local card game. But hopefully this helps other people. With GDO 5 coming within almost 2 months from now. Now it's technically, I was recording this video, it's May 31st. It is less than 2 months from now. It'll be July 25th. So that'd be less than 2 months from now that we will have the new set coming out. It is a very popular set. A lot of people will be coming into the game, and I feel like this is a perfect time to potentially have new players understand the game, figure out what's the best thing they can do before actually spending any money on the game at all. Sometimes people might be waiting for GDO 5, but they want to learn some information beforehand. Hopefully this video helps you them out. But if this video has been very informative, please leave a thumbs up. If there's something that I forgot to put in the video, or tips that you want to put down, or things that you wish you knew when you were playing, put it down in the comments down below so we can help each other out. And then share this video to help other players as well who are just getting into this game. And you could be like, oh, you're new to the game? Okay, instead of trying to explain everything to you, let me just share this video real quick. And you share my video with them. You're like, hey, look, this guy has a video, decent video, and then goes over a few things. And then why not try out those tips and tricks out? And that can save you a lot of time. Just say, here's a video, you can check it out and help you guys out. And that also helps me out too, get a little bit more exposure with other people as well. But that is pretty much it when it comes to everything. Hopefully, like I said, this video is good. I won't keep you guys any longer. I appreciate you guys. I am grateful for the chance to keep playing this game and have fun, and also meeting new people as well. But that is pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in our next video. Peace.